Okay, class, as promised, I'm going to walk you through this calculating trendline equation step by step. So this is the simple version, unlike the one I showed you in block one, so disregard that. Again, I apologize for the confusion. I learned it a little bit more complex way to do it, and so after working through some calculations, I realized there's a much easier way to do it, and I now understand what you were asking during block one. All right, so anyway, so let's get started. It's the same example we worked through earlier, same Nearpod as earlier. I just added some things and changed some things so you could see how to calculate this trend line. All right, so again, remember y equals mx plus b. That's very important general equation to remember where m is our slope, y and x and y are the specific points that we're looking at, and b is our y-intercept. All right, so again, step-by-step calculations. We're first going to write out a general equation of y equals mx plus b. You're going to find the slope, or m, by taking 2 points that sit on the trend line or the line of best fit. And then you're going to use the slope you calculated and one of the data points to find b, or the y-intercept. And then you're going to write out the equation. Okay. So let's do a quick example. So again, same question as earlier. We're using this scatter plot with this trend line and these data points to calculate the equation for the line of best fit. All right, so remember y equals mx plus b. Like I said, slope is equal to rise over run, or the change in y. So y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So again, if we're picking the 2 points of the data, 2 data points from this scatter plot, right, it's a little activity here, but I'm going to skip over this. We'll skip over the open-ended question as well. And we talked earlier about how 2.5 and 6 and the data point 7.9 and 19 are on the line. And so we take these 2 sets of data points, plug and chug into the calculation for slope, or m, right? Rise over run. And so we have 19, which is y2 here, minus 6, which is y1. We divide that by x2, 7.9, minus 2.5, which is x1. If we break that down, we have 2.407. For the purposes of this example, I'm just using it as 2.4. I'll just use 2.4 for the slope. Okay. All right. So this is step 2. Now we calculated our slope, or m, to be 2.4. I'm going to skip over that. All right. So next what we're going to do is calculate out the y-intercept. So we need to use, remember, we need to use one data point that crosses, or that sits on the line, right? The line crosses through it. And we need to use our slope that we just calculated, right? So we use the y equals mx plus b. We are going to rearrange the equation to solve for b. It's best just to do it this way, so it's the least confusing in my opinion. So you subtract the mx from both sides, and to get b on its own, so b equals y equals mx, b equals y minus mx. So from here, we're just plugging in our numbers. So we have y is 6. Our slope we just said is 2.4. And that's multiplied by x, which is 2.5. When we calculate that out, we get b is equal to 0. So our y-intercept is equal to 0. Now you can use either point, data point that the line passes through, right? That 2.5, 6, or 7.9, 19. I showed you what the calculations would look like with 7.919 if you chose to use that data point. Just note you only have to use one, right? You only have to use one data point. You don't have to do both of these calculations. You can do either or. I just wanted to show you both. So if you used the 7.9, 19, right, we use that general equation, we rearrange it to solve for b. We're going to solve for the y-intercept. So b equals y minus mx. And now we're just plugging in these data points. So b is equal to y, which is 19, minus our slope of 2.4, times our x, which is 7.9. And so 2.4 times 7.9 gives you 18.96. I rounded it to 19. It's just easier, I feel like, in this sense. If you chose not to round it, that's okay. You'll have that 0.04, which is roughly about 0. So I would accept either. I just wanted, just for simplicity's sake, to show you that it's 0. So again, finding the b, right, or the y-intercept, you can use either data point set. You do not have to show both of these calculations, right? You don't have to show the one on the left side and the right side. Just one or the other, depending on which data points you use. I just wanted to show you both so you know that either one you use should equal the same intercept. In this case, it does. All right, and the last step is to write out our trendline equation. So we calculated before that our slope is equal to m. M is 2.4, right, our slope. We calculated our y-intercept, or b, to be 0. And so now we just plug the y-intercept and the slope into the general equation, right, y equals mx plus b. And so now we have y is equal to 2.4, right, m, our slope, x, plus 0, right, our b-intercept, our y-intercept of b. So this is the trendline equation, y equals 2.4x plus 0. You can always double check your work by taking one of the data points again, and that's it on the line, and then plugging in. So again, I chose to use the 2.5 and the 6 data point, and I plug those numbers into the equation. So y, right, is 6, 2.4 is our slope, x is 2.5, plus 0, which is our b-intercept, like we said. 2.4 times 2.5 gives us 6, and we see that both sides equal the same number. Just a quick way to make sure that you have the correct calculation and that you understand how to proceed with the calculations. Well, again, I hope this clarifies any questions you had, and this is definitely the more simpler way, and I appreciate your patience this morning as I showed you a much more confusing way. But moving forward, I think this is the best route to take. And so please make sure you review this. We'll do some more practice problems next week, but if you have questions, please be sure to reach out. I'm more than happy to help. I hope you all have a great day.